What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone? Oh, it's Wednesday, halfway through the week. Get into a little bit of midweek madness. Talk a little bit about some QB heartbreaks. Like I said, week one overreactions, and then we'll get into some pizza parlays. And by pizza parlays, what's up, Evan? What's up, Marcy? And by pizza parlays, what I like to talk about. This is something we kind of did last year, and we were kind of, it was in like beta testing. This year, we're kind of thinking about doing something big. We kind of want to make it into, a contest where we can kind of give something away at the end of the year. But how pizza parlays work are you basically pick three teams that you think will win against the money line. And then you can basically, after that, you build your pizza. So you get three toppings, and it could be any kind of crust, any kind of sauce. Those are like freebies. After that, it's your three toppings, just like any pizza place. So we're going to get into that, kind of make it kind of fun. We missed the pizza parlays. We got to get it back. So what's up, Biggie? How you doing, man?
Good, making me hungry talking about these pizzas for parlays and bets. So I'm stoked about that. Get back to it. Yeah, man. A lot to talk about from week one recap, week two look ahead. So stoked to do it, man.
Yeah, I mean, week one, man, just some crazy things that happen. Obviously, we right away on Thursday night, we see KC ended up losing to the Lions. We didn't think that was going to happen. Obviously, we saw Kelsey was out, and we thought that maybe that could be an effect. But, Patrick Mahomes usually can make things happen. But when you've got receivers continuously dropping passes and, causing, turnovers, big turnovers that cause, Brian Branch, a rookie comes out and gets a pick six in his first game. So, I mean, it's just weird stuff. It's weird stuff that happened. Even the big blowout that happened, the 40-0 blowout, again, the Giants losing at home in a crazy rainstorm on 9/11. It's just things that are crazy that happen. We saw a lot of things that happened in week one, and we're seeing injuries. We saw Aaron Rodgers go down. He only had 4 plays, right? And he's down. So some big things that we were kind of hoping for, all of a sudden, it's just gone. So remember, like I wanted to say this too, you guys see it, gotta get away from that. Y'all see that there's so much content that's out there on Twitter, right? And the fact that a lot of things that were said and projected and all that stuff, it's just some things that just happened in week one. Everything's kind of out the window from that. But I think week one, we can let's talk about that first before we get into the QBs. Let's talk about some of the things that happened for week one. We've seen it almost every year. Crazy players that show out of nowhere, and like people will go out and spend an amazing amount of fab on it. And if anybody doesn't know what fab is, or their priority. So fab is just free agency acquisition budget. So in a lot of leagues, you'll get like a budget where you can spend on players all year. Most of them, I would say, are like 200 or 100, something like that. But, when you see out there on Twitter, when people are talking about what's the percentage that you would spend. So it's easier to say that instead of saying how much would you spend, because, not everyone's fab is the same. So I saw some crazy things where people were going out and spending like 51 or 50, I think it was 56% on Puka, which is, I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, he did, have, 15 targets in week one. He put up over 20 fantasy. I think pretty sure it was 20 fantasy points. He was one of the top, receivers this week. And, he was somebody you could get on the waiver wire, or somebody that was out there probably as a free agent. And you could have picked him up and played him. And, like I said, now people are, and think about that. If you wanted to make a trade right now, people are, like I said, people are spending over 50% of their budget. You could probably go make a really quick big trade with Puka right now and get somebody that didn't play well, or package them somebody like Puka, package him with somebody else that might have did all right, and go get like a T. Higgins. You know what I'm saying? Like people are like, whoa, T. Higgins had a big nothing game. He didn't do anything. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can get Puka, this new young guy, especially if it's a dynasty. You might be able to do something like that. What are your thoughts?
I forget about that.
What are your thoughts on something like that? Do you think you can make a trade like that where you could just, even if you're, like I said, how hyped people get over week one is just, it blows my mind almost. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, I barely even went out and got anybody. I probably should have went out and got more defensive players, because I think that's more like something that we don't see as more FUBAR. I feel like some of these defensive players, they come out and you see them and you're like, oh, well, that's what we thought they could have been, and they actually showed us, but we weren't drafting them like that. Those are players where was it like so like a Branch, and who else was out there on the wave? I know you picked up a couple people on IDP. You can talk about a couple of those players that got picked up.
Kaiser White is out there as well. Montez Sweat may be available out there in your league.
Whitehead,
Quan Alexander, yeah. So all those people,
well, I mean, yeah, and a lot of them scored within the 25 to 30 points, in the FF7s. So people out there. So I know Mel was having issues with her league or with her team, and Mel, there's players out there that you just got. So we got to remind everyone that playing the waiver wire is a big deal when it comes to running your team throughout the year. Because even if you didn't have a decent draft, there's ways where you can, especially if like you're in a priority, and I think it's priority in yours, right?
Yeah, priority. So as long as you don't use it, you move up to priority.
Yeah. So if there's weeks where you're like, all right, I don't think I need to grab somebody, but even if you're like, I think there'll be players that'll be out there still available, I'll wait. So once the waiver wire goes through, then anybody who picked up a player, you'll move up. So if you're like somebody who didn't even pick, you're going to be up the top of the list. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's almost even better to just not go week one, because you know what happens when everything's happening that's supposed to be happening in week two. You're going to start seeing the players that are really producing. And a lot of those players were just dropped this week. So that is something that I like to talk about. So people overreact to week one. We just got to kind of get away from that. Get away from the chatter. I mean, who were some other big players that were picked up this week? Let me look real quick.
Offensively, definitely Justice Hill, Gus Edwards.
Justice Hill, Gus Edwards.
Who's the backup for
Kyron Williams or Kyron?
Yeah, well, Kyron Williams is probably picked up for the Rams. Who's the backup for Eckler? Kelly, right? Joshua Kelly.
Yeah, just Joshua Kelly, right?
Yeah, Joshua
Kelly. I mean, these are just, but I mean, you're basically going out and you're picking up a backup that probably is only going to be there if they don't play, right? And they probably won't do as well as you think they did in week one, because now other teams are going to be kind of scheming against that player, right?
Yeah,
So there was one thing that so I was talking in the chat. I think so I was on, or not on, but I was just listening to our guy Tips show earlier, and he was kind of talking about some players that you could go out there. And I said, if you're kind of looking, a good player out there that people might be off of, but he's healthy, right? Zach Moss, he's coming back. And last year, week 18 against Houston, who they play this week, he went off for 18 carries for 114 yards and a touchdown.
Right.
So I might take that chance, especially now if he's going to get the opportunity. And, Richardson got a little banged up too, so he might not be running as much in week 2. So, I mean, I think that's somebody who's probably still available out there that anybody can go up, just stick them on the end of their bench.
Right, dude. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to look for a running back situation. Jackson fumbled 2 times. That's not a good look. So they're probably going to try to get some more people in there. Rotation, help Richardson out. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. So whichever running back steps up, he's gonna have potential.
Yeah. So Evan Hull is also banged up too. His knee got banged up.
He's put on the PUP or the IR, one or the other.
So this is what I'm saying is now who's there that's going to step in? Who has the opportunity now to step in, right? Zach Moss does, and he's healthy and he's practicing. So I like that. And he's, like I said, he's probably still available out there. People are not thinking about him, and they aren't looking back at what he did against Houston. I know Houston's not as good. I mean, the defense do you think it's any better than last year? Did they make any step up really?
I mean, from an IDP standpoint, it's a good defense, but Petrie could be out. He got like kneed in the chest by Lamar Jackson, I guess, or something, and his lungs are bruised or something up with his lungs, and so he may be out. But Christian Harris is over there. Will Anderson's a monster. It's a good defense. It's just not a good enough offense to help his defense. I mean, CJ Stroud only put together, I think, 2 points is what I have. Yeah, he got 2 fantasy points. I mean, they just didn't get any help offensively.
Yeah, they only scored 9 points in week 1.
I mean, this is rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback. This is going to be kind of a disaster offensively in a lot of ways, I think. We'll see, though.
Yeah, I agree. But so I'm going to we'll get into the pizza parlays, but the Colts are a team that I did pick, and it's crazy. Their wins, their win-loss ratio against the Texans is ridiculous. So
nice. Yeah, they're point favorites right now. So
yeah, it's what? It's only a half. It's only what, 1? Yeah, 1 point favorite.
Sure.
Yeah, but the odds are there. Like the odds are in the Colts' favor, so I'll take that the odds. But yeah, what's up, everyone? Welcome in, everyone. Wendy's here, Melissa's here, Marcy's in the house, Fish is in the house, Mace is in the house. What is up, everybody? I'm gonna get to some of your questions, then we'll kind of get into the name of the show tonight was just some QB heartbreaks. I mean, week 1 was pretty rough, but let me get some questions real quick. Wendy's like, do you like Cam Akers over Kyron Williams? So I don't know. It's tough for me. Cam definitely struggled in week 1. And what are you going to really get from Kyron Williams? I mean, I don't really know what to expect from either one of them. Is there anything else out there, Wendy, that you can maybe put in? I'm sure there's somebody else. Like if Cam Akers is like your RB2, I'm hoping that he's like a flex and you can put somebody else in your flex. You know what I'm saying?
Kyron got 15 touches, I believe. So that's not too bad. I don't know if that's going to sustain. I don't know. Sean McVay, Sean McVay's a little weird with his running backs, in my opinion. So it's hard to trust what's going on over there ever since Todd Gurley.
So yeah, like another thing, like I said, the crazy things happen in week 1. Somebody that you don't think is going to go off goes off. That's why you see these people spending a ridiculous amount of money or a fab, or immediately just go out and start spending their priority on these players. And then all of a sudden you'll see these players just get dropped in week 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So all right. So Cam Akers saw 22 carries, but Williams was on the field more snaps, including the red zone and passing down situations. William will be popular pickup in waiver wires. 15 carries for 52 yards. Oh, so he got 2 touchdowns. He must have been the end zone guy. Somebody that was just right there in the red zone.
Yeah, he got the short yardage, but I thought he had 15 carries isn't too bad. I don't know how much fab he might be going for in priority. I put in some for it. I don't know if it was in your dynasty league or what, but I put in some fab for him and got outbid. So
she said, "Yeah, flex. I have Williams, but Akers is available." I think Akers is going to be available. I mean, maybe you can go out there. Is there somebody else you don't like? I mean, it's still kind of rough. I dropped Marvin Mims in some leagues, and I'm actually kind of like I'm not okay with it anymore. I'm kind of like, I don't know. Maybe he has a better week too, but those were in leagues where I had like Cortland Sutton, so I wasn't as, I got Puka and I dropped him, so I was like, okay, I'm okay with that. But yeah,
the Rams also have a pretty rough week 2 against the 49ers.
Yeah.
From a rushing standpoint, they may not have as good a game as they had in week
1. Mel wants to know, are you switching Isaiah Simmons for Whitehead?
No, I'm going to keep Simmons in.
Whitehead career day.
I'd be chasing the points. Those are hard points. Like if somebody gets a lot of tackles, or they're going to be schemed up well, I might go get them. But 3 interceptions, that's more than he's had in his career at any year. So
you want to know something that's crazy? So here's a fun fact for you. I don't know if you knew this, but on his contract, if he gets 3 interceptions in a year, he made $250,000. He did that in one night. That's how you get your paycheck, baby. Oh, it's too good. Yeah, Wendy. He can be a love-hate relationship with Akers. He kind of showed us at the end of the year when McVay kind of was trusting him and that he blew up. But he's coming off that big injury still. He might be just having to shake the cobwebs off still. I mean, here's another thing that we don't really think about. Not a lot of the starters really start together. There's only 3 weeks now, in preseason. So these guys aren't getting as much work. remember when there was 4 preseason weeks, they were making cuts almost every single week, and more players were playing together. Now it's kind of like they're kind of like letting these guys play longer and then cutting them at the end, you know? So I feel like you're still seeing players that are kind of developing in week 1. Like there's not, I think that's something that is going to affect a lot of stuff. That's why we're seeing some injuries too. I think it's like some players are just not getting enough play time before the season really gets into that hard start, you know? And that you heard also, I don't know if anybody else heard that they're petitioning to get rid of turf now.
I hope so. That'd be nice.
So that'll be something that's amazing. Yeah. So Mace says I don't like either this week against the San Francisco. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
He's a San Francisco guy. Mace, I sent your cards in the mail from the Thursday show. I hope they arrive. And Bella, if you're watching, I also sent your package as well. So 2 people taken care of.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. Let's get into some QB heartbreak. So I kind of wanted to just go over week 1's what they were projected to finish as. So here's your 1 through. I just want to do 1 through 12 since it's most leagues are 12-team leagues. That's probably the average. May said, "Much love, Iggy. Much love, Iggy." So Mel, yeah. So sometimes if it's like in a league like this, so a 16-team league, when you're playing against especially in FF7s where you're playing up against a lot of experts, especially in the what division or in the conference that you're in, if Wilson was the only guy that's like out there, you're gonna probably have to spend almost all your fab to get him. It's just crazy.
Oh, it's priority. It's fantasy.
Oh, it is priority. That's even worse. That sucks. Yeah, that happens. So that's the only thing that it sucks about priority. Like fab, you have an opportunity, just like auction. You can kind of bid to get your stuff, but say keep things in control. I dig it. So, do you think Mac Jones is for real? We can kind of get it. We'll get into that too, because we'll get into how they finish. So we'll kind of talk about that. So here, so week 1, these were your top 12 projected players at the QB position. Jalen Hurts at 1, Pat Mahomes at 2, Josh Allen at 3, Lamar Jackson at 4, Joe Burrow at 5, Justin Herbert at 6, Trevor Lawrence at 7, Kirk Cousins at 8, Justin Fields at 9, Deshaun Watson at 10, Tua at 11, and Dak at 12. So these were your projected week 1 top 12 finishers. That's what they were projected to finish. So when we talk about projections, this is another thing that you kind of got to worry about. Projections are something that people are just, these are just what either a couple of experts are putting together and they think, this is, and then they make a consensus of what they think that these players will score by basically what they think how many passes they'll complete, how many touchdowns they'll make. And, like if they rush any, intercept, it's just a projection. So, not all the time this stuff is right. So like I said, I don't feel like there's so many experts out there. It's still an educated guess off of what somebody thinks is happening. So you kind of have to go out there and kind of do some of your own research at the same time. So I like to reiterate this a lot. Like I like to listen to a couple people during the day, and then I'll go out and do some of my research for myself on these players and see if it's a FUBAR or if it's something that I really think is, going to work out for my team. But yeah, I mean, that's what I like to do. So we'll kind of get into now how they finished this week. So Tua wasn't on the top 12 list. He ended up finishing as the number 1 quarterback this week.
You got 30 fantasy football 7s.
Yes, he had a hell of a week 1. I can say so. And my projections for him year finish was basically based off of injury, which is it's kind of dumb, but that's the way how I project my end of year finishers. But Tua, when he's healthy, Tua is actually, I think he had some of the most down yard passing yards this in week 1. And you got to think about with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it's just unbelievable talent right there. Tyreek Hill went over 200 yards. I mean, this kid's on pace for he wanted that 2,000 yards this season. He called it out. I think he can hit it if he stays healthy.
Yeah,
especially if Tua stays healthy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was worried about injury. I didn't have him. I don't believe in my top 12 as well. So no fault there. But yeah, Chargers didn't play defense. They just threw it up.
So another surprise for me and Mace right here is Mac Jones for real. Mac Jones finishes at the number 2 position this week. What are your thoughts on Mac Jones?
I think he's for real. I drafted him a lot for best ball. I think Kendrick Bourne's for real. They said he had a great camp. I took him in a lot of best ball as well. So I just believe Bill O'Brien's a great offensive coordinator. I really do. He's helped Tom Brady win Super Bowls. He got the best out of Deshaun Watson. Went to Alabama and won a championship nationally. I just think he's got all the right tools, and he's worked with Mac Jones. And there's 2 good tight ends there. There's a decent wide receiver core. So I think there's things there for him to utilize in the passing game, particularly when they are down from behind, which could be a lot. I'm not sure the defense is as great as it's been in the past. We'll see. But I do believe in Mac Jones. I think there's a lot of potential there for him.
Yeah, I was like nowhere near thinking Mac Jones could do anything like this. He had a hell of a game. It's just he looked so bad last year. He did not look like anything like what he did in week 1. I did not expect him to be like he was probably for me projected outside the top 20 period, at the end of the year. And for him to come in and do something like this, I can say I'll come out and say that I was wrong about Mac Jones. I'm with somebody that will say that I'm wrong about something if I am. So, yeah, he looked really, really good. Hopefully he can keep this up. I think maybe with Zeke being there a little bit, having a really good pass protector, that's very helpful too. So I think maybe he feels a little bit more confident with that veteran in the backfield. Yeah, he looked great.
He did it 8 more times than the next closest person, which was Kenny Pickett. But Kenny Pickett only got 7 points, as opposed to Mac Jones getting 32. So, yeah, I think I really am a big believer in coaching. Like I said on the cheat sheet for the sports affiliation, that was the first information: is who's the coaches, who's the coordinators, and where does their strengths lie. And I think that it was more of a reflection on getting a bad offensive coordinator last year than it was on Mac Jones. So we'll see, man. He's probably not going to pass it 54 times. Maybe the rest
is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think he's still good for it. I think he's a 2 touchdown a game kind of guy.
Yeah, it was basically like an Alabama game, what just happened this week 1. They just kept throwing the ball. All right, let's get into QB3. So your guy, man, Jordan Love.
Love, baby.
I watched that game. Like I said, I watched the Vikings game, and then I had to watch in NFC North games that are like must watches for me because I gotta see what my competitors are up to. And man, that game. I'm gonna tell you that the Bears secondary and defense are probably worse than the Vikings. So we can at least say the Vikings aren't in last place for that. But I'm gonna tell you right now, the Lions and the Bear or the Packers are gonna feast, twice a year on these 2 teams. So Jordan Love looked really, really good. Do you think I do think that Aaron Jones is that perfect style of running back for him because he, like I said, very, very good at everything. Very good at pass blocking, very good at catching, and really good after the catch, because he is a running back and he's that strong running back who can push through the line, do kind of everything. But with that hammy, I'm really hoping that they just sit him 1 week at least because that's somebody you can't miss all year. That's especially when it gets cold.
Yeah. Yeah, we just saw how devastating the injury was for Aaron Rodgers. I would say Aaron Jones is every bit of the same level of importance to the Green Bay Packers as Aaron Rodgers is to the Jets. So I wouldn't even be upset if they set him 2 or 3 weeks because we're going to have him. He's just the superior running back in Green Bay. He's way better than Dylan, honestly, and it just shows.
Dylan looked really bad.
Yeah, he's just slow. He's big, but even when you talk to defenders, they're like, yeah, I'd much rather tackle Dylan than I would Aaron Jones because Aaron Jones is so much momentum. He's so quick and he's burstful and he hits hard. So, yeah, I think that I agree with it. But yeah, Jordan Love, 3 touchdowns on 15 completions. That is hyper efficiency. He only had 27 attempts to get to his point. So, and that maintains how they scheme things up. And, if they can, Atlanta's a good defense. It's going to be a good test. So we'll see how they work. If their scheme works against a team with better playmakers on it.
Oh, and by the way, everybody that's in here, like I said, we are doing pizza parlays. We'll put that out there again. So everybody that wasn't in here. So pizza parlays is a game that I should say Iggy kind of came up with last year when we were doing some shows, and we kind of want to get back to it. It's something that that's kind of been a pinnacle of this show. So we kind of want to get back to doing it. So pizza parlays. What's up, Craig? Pizza parlays is a game that we like to play where basically you pick 3 teams this week that you think will win against the money line. So just basically who you think is going to win that week. So 3 teams that you think is going to win, and then you get to build your pizza. So like any other place, if you go to a pizza place, they ask you what kind of crust you want, what kind of sauce you want. That's the free part, right? But then after that, you get to put whatever toppings you want. Oh yeah, cheese is free too. So you can put whatever kind of cheese you want on there. But after that, it's 3 toppings, right? So 3 toppings to your pizza. So three teams and 3 toppings. So everyone, if you want to get your 3 teams and 3 toppings, build your pizza parlay in the comments. We're going to start writing these down. And at the end of the year, if y'all are going to be following us every week, at the end of the year, I'm going to be giving some stuff away. All right. Like, y'all, I like to do that. So I got some stuff in the closet. I'll get some prizes out and we'll do some giveaways. So y'all let me know, get your pizzas built. Let's see here. I got Evan in the chat real quick.
Let's see. Yeah. And I just want to list off the quarterbacks. So the bottom 32 quarterbacks. Number 32, Josh Allen, Buffalo. Number 31, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati. Number 30, the quarterbacks that started, Taysom Hill's in there, I'm not counting. CJ Stroud, Houston, 2 points. The other 2 guys had 1 point. Ritter, Desmond, Atlanta, 4 points. Bryce Young, Carolina, 6. Dak Prescott, 6. Kenny Pickett, 7. Sam Howell, 8. Jalen Hurts, 9. So that's kind of like your bottom 10 per se. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, and then Geno Smith, 9. That's the bottom 10. So that's 22 through 32. Just not good quarterback play, man.
Yeah, dude. That's what's super, super crazy is, these players that were projected really, really high this week. That's why I say that week 1 is that FUBAR week. Week 1 is the week where people, especially with, like I said earlier, them only playing 3 games in preseason. There's not enough time for these players to develop together, even with the team versus team camp like games, like I feel like it's not enough, man. It's not enough for these players. The 4 weeks in preseason was perfect because they could eliminate players during the weeks, and then these other players could play longer together and build that, the chemistry and we're seeing, especially with and injuries too, like the injuries are picking up. Like there was a lot of injuries in week 1, and it's just something that I think is going to keep happening with only them playing these 3 games, even though they were complaining, about playing more. I feel like it was better for the players in the end.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm wrong there.
Padded practices, longer practices. I think all that stuff matters a lot more than people realize.
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones bounces back too. Like it was a weird game, man. Like just Dallas took so much momentum in that game. At the point, it's like sometimes you will get in your own head, right? You get frustrated, especially with that amount of rain and just being at home and being like feeling like you're letting your fans down. I'm sure the Boo Birds were out, but Daniel Jones, man, the talent is there. Waller's there. Bellinger was getting involved. I like that. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of talent here. Hyatt was dropping the ball. There was a lot of drop passes too, but you got to remember it was downpouring rain. The offense for Dallas didn't have to do like anything. Dax finished way outside the top 20 because he didn't have to do anything. He had like 6 points maybe. What, right?
Yeah, he was 27, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm in your league. Yeah, and like most like regular leagues, he didn't do like anything. I mean, he didn't do much.
Yeah, he got 6.5 in this one, but yeah, that's nothing. That's not that much. That's QB 29, dude. It's not good.
Well, I mean, that game was crazy. The weather games are crazy. Anything can happen in a weather game. Anything can happen in a weather game. It's hard to bet on those games. It's hard to play players in those games. Like you, basically, the only thing that did well in that game was Dallas's defense.
Yeah. Yeah, they did well. I mean, Dan Quinn, dude, he's good.
So I do want to try to point this out. So my stats might be a little bit different from yours, because I was going off of my league, the Fantasy 27. But yeah, so I don't know if it's the same as yours, but Kirk Cousins was projected number 8. Mr. Consistent finished as number 8. So yeah. I like that. Even though so that's another thing too, is like when you're watching football, things, even though a game looks like crap, like even though Kirk Cousins had a shitty game, he had like he had 2 fumbles, which one of them was actually caused by his center, who had to come in as a backup because Bradbury got hurt in the first drive. So our center goes out in the first drive. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a good game, especially with Madison. And anybody out there that thinks that Madison did really well definitely did not watch the game. He might have finished with 13 or 14 points. Well, he had a crazy touchdown where it was like a pass in the backfield, and he broke a tackle, which he didn't break a tackle. It was probably one of the worst tackles I've ever seen, and he just fell into the end zone. It was like 36 yards rushing on like I look the stats. It's terrible. Madison is garbage. He does not look good. If you're watching football, that's not something I'd be excited about, especially if you drafted him in probably the 4th round. It's not good. It's not good. But what are some other guys we can kind of point? Pat Mahomes still finished in the top 4, even though he didn't have a really good week 1. These are players that you want to still see finish, even if they're projected in that top 1. You want to see those players that are like that at least finish in the top 6. A lot of these points are just maybe can be minimal too. We did see Anthony Richardson have a good week 1, right? He did get a little banged up. He was running touchdowns. He was making some passes. Michael Pittman, who I didn't think was going to be the beneficiary of this, actually had a really good week. So that's something to look at. There is that chemistry there. Yeah, I like what this team is doing. The Colts, if they can get Zach Moss going, and you can go out there and pick him up right now. I'm telling you, this is a week 2. If you got a win last week and you're having a problem trying to find somebody to flex, and Zach Moss is out there, at least go get him so somebody else doesn't play against you. Like I said, the stats earlier from the last time that he played against Houston was 18 carries, which was week 18 last year. 18 carries for 114 yards and a touchdown. I think he was RB2 that week, which is ridiculous. So, I mean, if you can get that guy for free right now, because most waivers are still, now it's a free agency. Most of them are. Some go every day. Waivers run every day, but most of them, I feel like they do one waiver run and then they're done. And then it's just open free agency the rest of the week. So,
fab, most of your fab, you're every day. I think the Warrior Bowl's that's a fab league. So, yeah, it's every day. So, yeah, what's Scott Fish? That's fab too, right? I'm pretty sure.
Fab, but I don't know if it runs every day. Evan says, he said, Hurts rushing touchdown incoming plus money.
Against the Vikings. Love it.
So if anyone gets their pizza parlays in there, like I said, get your 3 teams that you think is going to win this week, and then build your pizza. So whatever toppings you think that you'd want. 3 toppings, 3 teams that you think are going to win this week, and then 3 toppings on your pizza. Throw it in the chat. We'll get them written down. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the year. I could find something right now, but we got a show going. So like I said, I got some autograph. I think I got a couple autograph. Oh, who did we have in there? I could probably give that one away. Who was that running back that I had, that football from KC? Probably do that one.
The Nigerian Nightmare, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. probably do that. Let me see here.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I have to look up his name.
Christian Okoye.
Christian Okoye. Okay, yep. That's it.
So, all right, how about that? If anybody wants to get, I'm going to be giving an autographed Christian Okoye football, and it's got Kansas City Chiefs logo on it, and it's pretty sick.
Really
It's pretty sick, and it comes with a card. It comes with his card too. I got his card in there too. So to make sure you get your pizza parlays built. 3 teams that you think are going to win this week, plus 3 toppings on your pizza. Get it in the chat. Get it in the chat. So Justin Herbert ends up finishing number 6. Deshaun Watson, who I'm kind of surprised about, going out and just beating up on the Bengals. Bengals had an absolute trash game. Joey Burrow looked absolutely terrible. And I actually was very, very down on him just because of the injury that he sustained in the offseason. I think that they just brought him back too soon. That's something that calf strain, man, I get worried about that stuff. So it's something that I think they should have just waited on. We saw him struggle. I think he was, worried about his injury a little bit. That's got to be in the back of your head when you're playing football.
Yeah, at some point, especially when you're running or you feel it, it's tight, any of those things. Because the difference between practice and a game is you don't know how long you're going to sit on the sideline in a game while the other team's got the ball. And you can get, tight. You get 20 minutes on the bench, you're tightened back up, man,
Yeah, I was really worried about that. And I'm not worried about Jamar Chase, but I guarantee now if Burrow comes back this week and still plays bad, I'm worried. They might have to sit him just because, And if that happens, then at that point, I am very worried about Jamar Chase. I'm probably worried about everyone but Mixon.
Yeah. Yeah, Mixon, I've got him in a lot of leagues. I think he'll do well. I think he's the beneficiary of all this.
Yeah, Fish, it doesn't matter. Like I said, we want to just include everybody. This is inclusive. I don't want to go away from anybody that's in the affiliation to not give it away to, because y'all have the right to win stuff. It's not your stuff, right? It's my stuff. So I feel like everybody has the opportunity to win. That's how it should be. Everybody should win. And if you feel generous enough to give it away to somebody else, I'm all for it, brother. Appreciate you. So I'm gonna get these written down. Some pizza parlays. We got Mel in the chat. She says Casey. Let me get it right here. Right, Mel. Fish. She said Mahomes loves Hurts. So Mahomes and love and Hurts. Meet. So she's going KC, Green Bay, and Eagles. And Fish said that he is going Bills, 49ers, Cowboys.
Okay.
There we go, Marcy. Little Cowboys action.
Yeah, I'm hearing people saying my pizza parlay on different builds, so I love it.
Pepperoni. So keep getting. I got 6 people in here, so just get your pizza parlays in. I want to do some giveaways. So this is a fun thing to do. Seeing where you're kind of at the end of the year, or even by the middle of the year, because like I said, week 1 was crazy.
Yeah, just getting one successful lineup's going to be a lot harder than you think.
And if anybody has any questions also about your teams or anything this week or anything for betting, we can get some of that stuff in here too. We can answer any questions if you have any fantasy football questions, anything on your team, or anybody out there on the waiver wire that you might want to go pick up or drop. That's what this whole show is about. That's why we kind of do it live. So Mel, I know you always have some questions, and this is a great time for us to get them in there, because somebody else out there that might watch later could also have the same question too. So, I guess I can get to my pizza parlay. Actually, you know what? Do you got yours built?
Yeah, I got mine.
All right.
I've got an NFC East special, man. I got the Eagles, the Giants, and the Cowboys all winning. That comes in at +134 on the book. So I'll take it.
Eagles, Giants, Lions.
Cowboys.
Oh, all right.
All NFC East special, baby. I don't know if Washington gets past Denver, so they didn't get added.
All right. We got 4 this week. All right. That means we got a little advantage. I like to see it.
I got 3. Yeah.
I'm talking about 4 people getting their pizza parlays. Oh, there's Ev. Ev got his in too. We got to get everyone in here. If anybody wins it, like I said, if you win, you are more than welcome to do with it as any way as you fit. If you want to give it away to somebody else, if you want to make it into another thing, I'm all for it. So he's got Giants,
Love it.
Cowboys, Eagles, just like you.
Oh man, great minds thinking alike there, Evan. I have to save that one for Sunday.
He's just trying to keep the line even real quick. He said you and I are the same level. All right, so what about your pizza, Ev? If you got a pizza, throw it in there. You didn't talk about your pizza.
Oh yeah, man. Going with my special to start it off: salami, green chili, and Asiago.
Ooh, making it crazy. And if anybody didn't know, Iggy used to bake pies, dude. Iggy used to bake pies. All right, Marcy's getting here too, getting her pizza parlays in here. She says Cowboys, Cardinals, Chiefs, chorizo, mozzarella, and onion. Dang, that sounds good as hell. Cowboys, Chiefs, Cardinals. Oh yeah, you did. My bad. You said pepperoni, bacon, and jalapenos for Evan. That sounds good too. That sounds really good.
That's a go-to. I used to make that pie. I used to work with this guy named Chuck, dude, and we worked together, But I was the pie maker. He was kind of more of a prep guy, and he'd always be like, "Man, because we always eat whatever we're making all the time." And he's like, "Man, make that bacon, pepperoni, and jalapenos, man."
I'm gonna give you a little secret, man. If you want to add just a little more spice or a little bit something extra to that, cream cheese. Dollop of cream cheese. It's like a jalapeno popper pizza.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's so good, dude. I had it with instead of pepperoni, you had chicken on there. Woo! It's so good. So good.
On a pizza though, bro, it is like grease central. You got to like get the pill and like hold the pizza over and drip and drop the pie. Drop the pie.
Drop the pie. Then you got to start over.
Yeah, can't do doing that.
All right, so here's mine. Man, everyone, I think almost everyone took the Eagles. Let's see, besides Marcy and Fish. I'm also going, let me see. I am also going Eagles. The one I'm kind of worried about a little bit, I'm going San Fran. I think it could be a little closer than I think. But
they're still favored.
They're still favored, but ooh, yeah, dude. Hot honey. Oh boy. Hot honey on pizza is so good. It is crazy good. Because I do the pepperoni and chicken on there. All right, so I got Eagles, San Francisco, and what I talked about with the Colts. I got the Colts this week against Houston, even though it's a really, really close spread of 1. So I'm going Colts. So with their history, they are 31-10 and 1 versus the Texans. So I like that odds. And in Houston, they're 14-6 and 1. I really like that. So that's what's up, Greg? He said he's watching us on his 65-inch TV. Woo! Appreciate everyone coming in. Yeah, this is a fun show. Wednesdays, we're gonna kind of do some stuff like this. We're gonna continue doing our pizza parlays. That'll be the end of the show. And like I said, maybe midway through the year, I'll just get something else away. But at the end, I want to give something big like that. That autographed football we're going to give away. Christian Okoye, Kansas City. It's got the Kansas City logo on it. It's got his autograph on it. And then it also comes with one of his cards. So I want to give some stuff away to people that are here hanging out with us. Y'all deserve it. You're the reason that we do this every week. So we appreciate everyone that's here with us. Greg said he's taking Houston. You're a homer. You can't do that. I'm just kidding. He's not a homer.
All right, Greg, you got to build us a pizza parlay. 3 teams you think win today or this weekend.
Greg, give me your pizza too. So we were talking about pizza parlays. So we do 3 teams that you think are going to win against the money line. So just basically 3 teams that you think are going to win. And then 3 toppings on your pizza. Pizza parlays.
So many kind of pies you can build. It's crazy.
That is, man. Last year, I didn't even get into my pie. So tonight, my buddy and I, we got some Korean style. They're called flanken ribs. Basically, what they do is they cut the ribs really thin, and you get like more meat. Instead of it being a whole bone, you just get like 3 riblets that are in there, and it's really thin. The meat, man, it just falls right off the bone. We got some really good barbecue sauce. Threw a little bit of Crown Royal in there, some pepper, some garlic. Oh man, cooked them on this little portable grill. What's up, Gemmo? Oh yeah, just so y'all know, Gemmo the icon. So after this show, make sure you go follow Gemmo the icon. Go on YouTube. He's got a great show tonight. And who is on the show? Dang it. Coop is on the show tonight. So Coop is going to also be on one of our shows too, coming up soon. But he's going to be on Gemmo's show. So make sure y'all go follow Gemmo the icon on YouTube after this show. He'll be right up, man. And his shows are amazing to hang out and chill. What's up, Gemmo? Appreciate you being here, brother. Greg says he said pepperoni sausage and extra cheese.
There we go. Love it.
What's up, Gemmo? Yeah. So this is going to be kind of fun. So every Wednesday we're going to kind of do something like this. We'll talk about some kind of subject that's affected something in fantasy sports. And then we'll just kind of probably do something else. I mean, we'll probably have two topics, and then we'll get into pizza parlays, and then we'll take questions as well. So if anybody has any fantasy questions, or if anybody has any, whatever questions, if we just want to talk about anything, this is just hanging out on Wednesdays. Midweek Madness, man, halfway through the week. Thursday's tomorrow. We got a couple shows tomorrow. Thursday, we got the Greg and Mesa's show. It's going to be on, Twitter Spaces. I'll be on there as well. Iggy is going to be basically producing the show for us. And then we also have Hutch on the show. He's a young kid in the industry at 17. He's just making some huge strides in the industry. So it's going to be fun to have him on. He's a Philly fan. I'm a Vikings fan. So basically you're going to hear me crying the whole show. And then we'll roll on after that right after that, we have the watch party with the Fantasy Football Advice Network. With Tyler, he'll pop on with us. We'll watch the game. Just think of it kind of as like a Manning cast. We just kind of hang out. We'll talk about whatever. Talk about anything we think for bets. We'll probably get some live bets going. It's a lot of fun. And then after that show, there's also another show that they put on as well. And I tend to hop on with them, and they answer questions from their app. So they are a sponsor of ours, Fantasy Football Advice Network and Better Vision. So make sure you check out both of their apps. Better Vision it's an app where it's like an all central place for betting and for fantasy sports. So if you bet on multiple different platforms, and you also play fantasy sports on multiple different platforms, you can have one central place with Better Vision where you can have all that stuff right there on one app. And then Fantasy Football Advice Network is just, a really cool network. It's kind of like Twitter. It's just kind of taken off, but it's strictly for fantasy football. There are some content creators on there answering questions all the time. So if you're on there, and I think they are giving, so for paid subscriptions right now, I think there is a code. I'll have to get it from him for 25% off right now. So I will get that code from him. Reach out to me if you want that code and you want to get involved with the Fantasy Football Advice Network. But yeah, a lot of things are coming. It's week 1. We're getting into week 2. I'm super excited. Like week 1 is something where after waivers hit, I kind of just go through and hit the free agencies and see who's out there. I'm not somebody who likes to spend up a lot in week 1. I was talking to the King earlier, and we were kind of talking about what we kind of spent in fab, and he said he didn't spend anything more than 17% of his fab this week, and I was right there with him. So it's getting crazy week 1. It can really, really affect you maybe more down the line. And what's crazy is I actually saw somebody in week 1 with 0 fab left. That's going to really, really hurt. So don't get crazy. Even sometimes in the week 2, you might see somebody blow up, but look at some of these players that might be out on the waiver wire that were dropped. Kind of go out and do some research on them. See if anybody is out there that you're like, maybe this guy might be good. Or even in week 2, same thing. Just look who's out there after waivers run, because there are players that do get dropped and they are available. Those players can be available after usually it's 2 days. That's on the waivers. So just make sure you're checking those priorities. So go check out Gemo's show after this show. Gemo, Jemo, the icon on YouTube. He's having Coop on the show, a great guy, a big guy in the industry for fantasy football. So make sure you all go check that out. And I appreciate everyone coming in the chat tonight. Appreciate. Let's see here. Mel said my QB2 lost me points last week. Dobbs. See, that's what I'm saying is like sometimes in the like in Iggy's league last year, FF7s, I actually didn't draft the second QB, and it really hurt me. Even though I went undefeated for 10 weeks, which was awesome, I made it into the playoffs, and guess what? Lamar Jackson, who was kicking ass, him and Andrews both went down, and I was effed. So at that point, though, sometimes, you got to get lucky and find somebody. If I would have gone Purdy instead of who's the backup for Baltimore at the time? I can't remember his name. But anyways, if I would have taken Purdy there, I think I would have had a better opportunity to win in the playoffs, but I ended up screwing myself over. But do your own research, get out there, and, you can ask people, bounce some ideas off of people that are in the community. Like, we're always available for anybody that's out there. You can come reach out to us. If you have anything out there, we'll try to get some questions answered. Thursdays tomorrow. Like I said, a lot of things coming in the future of the sports affiliation. Go check out the website. It's becoming a lot more nice than it was in the past. It is growing, and we got to shout out Christina for that. She's been putting a lot of work in on that. So thank you, Christina. Shout out to anybody else that's helping out in the community, in the sports affiliation community. There's a lot of people that are writing. Anthony had a really, really good article that came out. And Fish also had a really good article that just came out. And Iggy also had another IDP article that came out. So make sure you're checking out the website. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube. We are trying to make this a 5 to 7 day a week network. And as Greg was talking about on the show the other day, eventually we're trying to make this a network where there's shows all the time. That's where we're trying to grow this into a legit network where people can bring their content and come through our network. So it's a positive positive community and inclusive community. We appreciate everyone being here. Iggy, I always appreciate hanging out with you. You're my brother.
Always, bro. I love being here with you too, man. So great show. Thank y'all for being here with us.
Yeah, you could probably drop Dobbs. I mean, you can probably drop him.
Well, you can try to trade too. Maybe somebody needs a quarterback, and maybe you can get something.
I know Mel's trying to get a quarterback, so it's going to be tough, especially in the division or in the conference that you're in. There's a lot of experts in there, so
maybe you could package up Dobbs with if you have a lot of wide receivers or running backs, like your third or fourth running back or wide receiver, and try to get a better quarterback.
Greg says, Iggy, what is an IDP god doing in a QB jersey?
Hey, man, not just an IDP guy. IDP guys know it all, Greg. You know that.
All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. This show went great. Make sure y'all check out the show tomorrow. Like I said, Greg and May shows tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time on the Twitterverse, on the Twix, Twitter X. Make sure you come hang out with us. We like to include the audience, so the audience is part of the show. So come hang out, come grab the mic, come talk with us. We love everyone. Appreciate you, Iggy. Appreciate everyone. Peace out.